everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I am very excited today to be in the home of Jennifer and Richard Morgan. Jennifer, thank you so much.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you here, and I'm just excited to see what you're going to cook for us today.
Well, as you will see as we go throughout the show, not only is this a fabulous home, but this kitchen is your dream kitchen and you don't know it yet. I am so excited to be here, but we've got a really great show today, Jennifer. We're going to put together a beef stroganoff that when you get ready to have friends or family over, we're going to be able to enjoy the home instead of slaving in the kitchen. It's a great recipe. And then a Brussels sprouts recipe. Does your family like Brussels sprouts?
Love them.
You know, that's that vegetable that everybody thinks is no good, but you're going to love this recipe today. And then finally, winter is not complete without my favorite pineapple upside down cake.
My dad's favorite too.
Oh, great. Well, wonderful. Well, that's great. Well, we're going to get started with these recipes. And, you know, Jennifer, when you were doing this project a couple of years ago for your house, how did you kind of decide to do this amazing kitchen?
Well, when we decided to build the house a couple of years ago, certainly a lot of time went into the design of the kitchen. My family loves to cook, and so the kitchen always seems to be the gathering place. So we wanted a lot of space for everybody to be able to cook and have their own counter space and for it to be really functional.
Well, I know for sure that you have met all of those requirements, and I'm so happy to be here. But this beef stroganoff recipe, which I thought would be great for today, is going to allow us, as we get ready for your family to come over in a little bit, to do other things today at home and smell this fantastic dish. So this recipe calls for 2 pounds of cut up chuck roast. So, you know, the fresh market always has chuck roast available. Sometimes you can get lucky and catch it on sale. But I've just cut this into just 2-inch portions and tried to cut a little bit of the fat off. But, you know, I like a little bit of the fat because it gives the broth some flavor. And then these are just some button mushrooms that I like to use these because they'll hold their shape. And since it's a stroganoff, you know, you want the mushrooms, of course, to show up. And then, of course, Vidalia onion goes in everything, right? So this is 1 large cut up Vidalia onion. And then I'm just going to take some salt and pepper and just get it seasoned well.
That's good.
And then while I'm mixing this together, I went ahead yesterday and did this recipe, the 8 hours worth of cooking. And we've got some cornstarch and water there to kind of thicken it up. So if you want to get that going with the wire whisk, just to kind of thicken that together. And I'm just going to toss this. But you know, this island, Jennifer, I'm sure you guys use this not only to prepare, but this is where everybody stands around, right?
That's right.
Okay, and then that's just a little bit of the broth from the one that I did yesterday. And you've chosen Wolf appliances in this kitchen, correct?
Yes.
And that stove that you're going to be walking back to.
Let's put this on now?
Yeah, you're going to just put that on to cook. And then I'm just tossing the mushrooms. And of course you can get in there with your hands as well. But the chuck roast, from a flavor standpoint, really provides you with that really good beef component that's just really makes this dish very flavorful. But the other thing about a chuck roast is that it will maintain its tenderness the longer it cooks. So this recipe goes in the crock pot for 8 hours on low or for 5 hours on high. And we've got plenty of time, so we are going to let this go on the low side. And Jennifer, when you guys did all of this, I know that you've got a family of 4 children, you've got parents that live close by, you've got siblings that live close by, and when you gather around in this kitchen, do you actually use this as the buffet a lot of times as well?
Exactly. We have all the food laid out and everybody's kind of serves
Well, I
their
think
plates.
we're going to go along those lines today, but when we come back after the break, you know, Brussels sprouts are the vegetable that don't get a lot of credit. We're going to do a Brussels sprout recipe that I think you're really going to like. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining us, I'm at the home of Jennifer and Richard Morgan. Jennifer, you were so sweet to open up your home for us today, and you're getting ready to open up your home to lots of people.
We are. The Augusta Symphony Tour of Kitchens will be here, and there's going to be a lot of beautiful homes on that tour.
Gosh, that is a really great event here in Augusta, benefiting the Augusta Symphony. But while we were away during the break, you know, we've got that beef stroganoff going that's just simple, easy dish for when you've got lots of things to do for entertaining. I added the sour cream, the Dijon mustard, and then that sauce that you created with the water and the cornstarch and the juice from the one that I did yesterday. So it's smelling really good in here, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to get started on the Brussels sprouts dish. And Brussels sprouts are always available at the fresh market, and it's one of those vegetables that people say, I don't like Brussels sprouts, and they've probably never even tried them. But I'm going to get started finishing these. You're just cutting off the end, and I'm just cutting them, you know, into halves, just lengthwise halves. And we're going to be roasting these in a pan. So I've got a couple of things for you to do here to help me. First of all, we're going to toast pine nuts to go with this dish for the last 3 minutes. So you can spread those out on that pan. And then this is a stone pan. Jennifer, have you ever cooked with one before?
I've seen them, but I haven't cooked with them.
Well, and I'm new to this as well. And for this particular dish, the leaves of the Brussels sprouts got so crisp. I love it. But you do, because it's new, we're kind of seasoning along. So I'm going to get you to smear that with the pastry brush with some olive oil. So I'm going to finish the cutting over here. And the nice thing about this dish is it cooks quick. This is going to be about 15 to 18 minutes cooking time just at the last minute. And it has very simple ingredients to go with it. Olive oil, and I don't know about you, but that's what you're brushing on there. I use olive oil quite a bit.
All the time.
And then kosher salt, and you want to do this just to taste. I'd rather add, you know, some extra at the end if you needed it. Red pepper flakes, same thing. I like it hot, but I don't like it burning up hot. But you know what your family likes there, so we can add some more of that at the end if we'd like to. And then this is a new spice that I'm using from a company called Salt Table. And they have got just the biggest variety of seasonings. And you know, when you think about Brussels sprouts, they almost have kind of a meaty quality to them. So this is an applewood smoked sea salt. I'm gonna let you get a little whiff of that.
You can smell that smoke flavor.
I mean, it's just so a little bit goes quite a long way, which is another thing I really like about their seasonings, is that you don't have to use quite a bit. So that's just going to give just a whole nother element to this. And I'm just going to actually just mix this up with my hands and take this over to the pan. And in the meantime, I want you to get started on the other thing that makes this dish so great. Is we're going to do some bacon lardons. And so that's just the market bacon that we've cut into little strips. So I'll have you go over to your great range top and get started cooking those. But I'm just gonna spread this out evenly on the pan, and this is gonna go in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, Jennifer, come over. Let's talk about, we're going to put this in the oven, and actually I don't see an oven visible, so tell everybody about your decision about your ovens.
Well, it was kind of a fluke. A lot of the appliances had built-in cabinetry, and so I didn't want the stainless steel appliances showing of the ovens, and so we decided to put them in the side room, and that's actually been one of the best decisions, because if people want to bake, they can be in there, and when the pans come out of the oven, they can go on the side there, and then your kitchen stays clean.
Your kitchen stays clean, and you've got plenty of room to, you know, that's a problem generally for most people. You get ready to take something out of the oven and you've been preparing other dishes and there's no place to put the hot dish. So that's a really great tip for anybody out there that's thinking about redoing a kitchen or designing a new kitchen, is to get the ovens out of the way, because they're not the most attractive thing to look at in the kitchen. So I'm going to let you get back to the bacon, and for all of you, when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on that delicious pineapple upside down cake. Oh, I can't wait.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
Hey, are you enjoying this sneak peek of the Symphony's Tour of Kitchens that's coming up on March the 12th from 10 until 4? Well, I know I've had a great time today with Jennifer and her fantastic kitchen, and her home is just so beautiful. But you know, there are going to be 7 other homes just as beautiful coming up on this tour. There are 8 homes total, 5 in the Augusta area, and 3 in the Evans River Island subdivision that are just completely fantastic. There's quite a bit going on during the day too, as well as the tour. There are going to be cooking demos. I know Fireside Outdoor Kitchens is going to be doing one of those. There are floral presentations. The latest in automobiles, both Acura of Augusta and Johnson Motor Company are going to have their newest models out for you to look at. Then there's going to be some delicious tastings. And speaking of food, Fat Man's Catering will be offering lunch for purchase during the day on the tour. If you want more information on this, you can go to soaugusta.org, or you can call 706-504-1138. The cost of the tour is $25 in advance or $30 the day of the event. The proceeds benefit the Augusta Symphony Orchestra's educational program and general funding. You don't want to miss this event. Hope you'll be there. Welcome back, everybody, and we are well on our way, Jennifer, to creating something I think your family's really going to enjoy today. We have got the stroganoff cooking. That's smelling great. While we were away, we got the Brussels sprouts in the oven, and then I went back halfway through the baking process and tossed them. And you see what I mean about that stone pan?
Definitely.
It just really crisp up, and then
I put the pine nuts in with 3 minutes left.
right, because those are just going to get kind of toasty. And then I also, in preparation for this cake, I whipped the egg whites until they were really stiff, got some good stiff peaks on those, just the egg white, nothing else. And then I have the egg yolks in the mixer that I've gone ahead and flipped them around a few times, kind of getting a lemon color. And now
And I put in half a stick of butter in the cast iron skillet, and then I'm going to make the best part of the pineapple upside down cake, the flip over part.
the gooey, yummy part. Okay, well, I'm going to let you get started on that, and I'm going to add the granulated sugar to this. And you know, Jennifer, I don't know whether you had you said this was your dad's favorite dessert, and you know, it really is an old-fashioned dessert, but it's one that people really kind of cheat on and use cake mix. So, you know, we just can't cheat on the VeryVera show, right? So we're doing a scratch, and it's really not that hard. So I've added in my granulated sugar, and now this is the pineapple juice that we reserved from the canned pineapples that we're going to use. So that gives the cake even more of a pineapple flavor. Don't you just love that? And the fact is, you know, you can even serve it in that. Okay, so now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. I'm going to put my baking powder in with my flour and just start adding that a little bit at a time. And the batter itself in this is it's not a real thick cake. It's basically just a layer. This is a 10-inch cast iron skillet, and the recipe actually calls for a 9. So if you do a 9-inch skillet, you're going to have, you know, a thicker, but I like more pineapple showing. So that extra inch in diameter, you know, helped quite a bit. You know, we were laughing, Jennifer, about the fact that I know how to cook, you know how to cook, you know how to deliver babies. I don't know how to do that. So
You could learn.
I could, I'm sure. Okay, so salt. So that is just perfect. All right, so now I'm going to turn the mixer off of this, and we're going to incorporate the egg whites in. And you know, basically what we've done here is just created a way for this cake to take on a really light and airy feel. Let's see, just take that off. Okay, so I'm going to add the egg yolks to this. And this is just to really fluff this batter up so it's nice and spongy. So I want to do kind of a, just a fold over technique. We don't want to stir it too quick because then that defeats the purpose of the egg whites being stiff. And this is going to go in a 325-degree oven. And the other thing that I noticed, Jennifer, was that you made the decision to put 2 ovens in. And you said there's times of year where every eye on your stove
is being used and every oven is on with multiple things in it. So,
well, and those are convection ovens too.
yes.
Which also allows us, like we did with the Brussels sprouts and pine nuts, to put something on every rack in the oven. So this is just going to go on the top. And this is one of those cakes, if you've got a young person out there that really wants to start baking, even if you cheated with the cake mix, and I'm going to let you just kind of spread that around. Even if you cheat with the cake mix, this is the perfect beginner cake to make because you're not icing it, but yet the outside, when you flip it over on that pan, is almost like you've just spent hours perfecting a beautiful garnished thing. This cake can be served warm, it can be served at room temperature, but this is going to be a really great way for us to wrap up what I hope is going to be a beautiful display. So when we come back from the break, we're going to set your kitchen up for the reason that you did this, to have all your family over. We've got a lot of different kinds of pastas that we're going to introduce, almost do like a pasta bar to go with the beef stroganoff. The Brussels sprouts are going to be really beautiful in the container that we've got for those. Have some nice bread, and then of course the dessert at the end. So come back with us because we're going to be getting this party all together. I can't wait for everybody to get here. Welcome back, everybody. And Jennifer and Richard, I cannot thank you enough for allowing all of us to come into your home today. It's just been wonderful, and your home and the kitchen that's going to be on the upcoming tour here in Augusta for the symphony, the people are going to get their money's worth and more. So thank you so much. And they have invited their family, part of them anyway. Everybody goes in so many different directions anymore, but their daughter Abigail, parents Spencer and Linda Boyd, who actually live very close by. I know you guys love being this close to them and the grandchildren. But we had the buffet all set out, and actually everything turned out. And now I know why you love this island so much. It's fantastic to use as a buffet. So I want to give everybody a tip or two about the way that we displayed everything today. Of course, I think beef stroganoff is great on pasta, but when you go to the fresh market and you see all the different choices of pastas, I just thought, let's do 4. So we've got 2 different egg noodle pastas and a wild garlic spinach, and then a mushroom. So it's set up kind of like a pasta bar with the stroganoff being the main dish. So Linda, I'm gonna let you go ahead and try. And then, if you don't have a chafing dish, you can always use just boiling water to get things lively at the end. Another tip that I wanted to give you was, and I know y'all entertain quite a bit, so hopefully this will come in handy, is that make your pasta the day before. Cook it the day before, put it in the refrigerator. When it's time to serve, run it with a colander under hot water at the sink, then have some boiling water that you can pour over it just to bring it to that temperature that you want. So y'all help yourselves and go through the line. And as we think about these sorts of menus, I always think it's important. One of the reasons, as I said earlier, that we chose the beef stroganoff was because it's easy to prepare. It makes the house smell great. And when guests walk in and they don't maybe see you cooking at the stove and being really, really busy, but the minute they smell that great dish, they know they're in for quite a treat. How does everything look, y'all?
Delicious.
Fantastic. Wow.
Don't be shy now, we've got plenty. And then the Brussels sprouts, can be made a little bit in advance, but because the pre-prep with the slicing and getting those ready goes very quickly, just running them in and out of the oven. And as Jennifer pointed out, think about getting that oven out of the way if you're redoing your kitchen, and then also use that convection feature if you have it, use the warming drawer if you have it, and just enjoy being able to enjoy the home as a whole. We've got lots of interest, I know, in this pineapple upside down cake, and as you can see, it turned out really beautifully. I want to speak to the garnish that we put on top. There is a company that Fresh Market sells, it's called Dang, and this is a toasted coconut flake. And just in terms of a beautiful garnish, we did the whipped cream. I put some of that on the top of it. Of course, the more cherries, the better, whichever you prefer. But that's just a very light and wintry dessert to serve with this meal. So when I do the show, and especially Jennifer and Richard, when I come to someone's home, I always like to speak to the hospitality that you shared with us today. But I want to say, no matter what you do it in good taste, and I want each of you to enjoy. I'm going to kind of sneak and get me a quick taste of this, but I want to invite you to come back and join us again next weekend for another episode of the VeryVera Show. Let's dig in, everybody.
Sure.